The events of this past weekend underscore the urgent need to help Ukraine win this war quickly. Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. The explosive turmoil in Russia, which has more nuclear warheads than any other country, should spur the U.S. and NATO to promptly supply Ukraine with all the weapons it needs to expel the Russian invaders. The coup attempt against Putin exposes serious fissures in the Kremlin. The war itself has laid bare what no overseas intelligence agency had recognized. Despite a formidable array of weaponry, Russia's military had been hollowed out by massive corruption at all levels, from the defense officials and generals at the top to the chronic mistreatment and abuses of the recruits by non-commissioned officers. Ill-treated, ill-prepared, ill-led, Russia's poor military performance has been undermining the legitimacy of the Putin regime. Compounding this loss of authority is the pervasive corruption in the rest of the government. Economic stagnation, increased oppression, deepens the dissatisfaction. All this is why Ukraine must be allowed to triumph as soon as possible. The lack of a Russian conquest will tempt Putin or his successors to recklessly ramp up their efforts to get a victory of some sort in Ukraine. Instead, the U.S. has been dawdling about supplying Ukraine with F-16 fighters and getting Ukrainian pilots trained for these aircraft. Nor has the U.S. and its allies been supplying Kyiv with necessary artillery and tanks needed to destroy entrenched Russian forces. Ukraine's offense against Russia has been hampered in part because of Russia's advantages in the air, particularly with attack helicopters. Numerous F-16s and other necessary aircraft should be provided now, not in the distant future. Patriot surface-to-air missile batteries are crucial for countering Russian missiles and drones. Ukraine needs 50. The U.S. has given only 2. Enabling Ukraine to deliver a knockout blow quickly will strip Putin and Russia's powerful ultranationalists of the idea that the Kremlin can still win by waging a war of attrition. NATO will gather next month in Lithuania for its annual meeting. Their big subject is mapping out a path for Ukrainian membership. There is no consensus on the particulars, but all agree that Ukraine won't be part of NATO while the war is on. So, supply Kyiv with the needed tools now. A Ukrainian victory, followed by immediate NATO membership, will forever forestall any realistic opportunities for ultranationalist Russians to try to conquer Ukraine. As for Russia itself, we have little influence on any domestic convulsions. Unsuccessful wars in the past have always led to big internal changes, such as the end of serfdom after Russia's defeat in the Crimean War of the 1850s, the beginnings of a constitutional monarchy after Russia lost a war against Japan in the early 1900s, the collapse of the Soviet Union after the Afghan War debacle in the 1980s, and most hideously, the communist coup after devastating setbacks in World War I. I'm Steve Forbes. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and suggestions. I look forward to being with you soon again.